first come in and I introduce myself, I always listen for their last name, okay? And so if I don't hear it clearly, this is another thing when you're confident in your communication. I might say if it's, Bob and Lauren, okay? Or if that's the name, it's Bob and Lauren. I said, Bob, Lauren, nice to meet you. Brett Shoemaker. What's your guys' last name? I always ask for their last name, especially if it's in a neighborhood where you have a smaller, older neighborhood or the smaller price point neighborhood and a larger one, because typically if people like that neighborhood, they want to stay in that neighborhood. And guess why I want their last name? I want their last name because some people might not fill out the buyer sign or the open house sign-in sheet, or maybe they feel whatever. And so what I do is even sometimes during, as I'm walking around, I have a little conversation with them. I let them go walk around and I go and write down their name, the husband and the wife's name, and their last name, okay? Maybe some notes, because number one, I don't want to forget. I'm a visual person. I know if I write it, I remember it better. And then when you remember it later in conversation, they're super impressed because like, oh my gosh, he remembered. Also, let's say I want to write them a thank you card. If they don't give me their email, okay, or their phone number because they're just whatever, I'll send them a thank you card, okay? And it just says, hey, thanks for coming out and seeing me, whatever, and I send it to their house. You might think that's creepy or weird, but guess what? There's no other agent that at an open house is not getting the information, but you really took the time to care, listen to their information, get to know some of the things we're going to talk about here on these next few questions, and then follow up with taking the time to send it, okay? And here's what I can tell you guys. It gets really overwhelming when you start thinking about all of these things and that you have to do and this, that, and the other. But guys, if you focus on the small things, even if you just have 2 or 5 or 10 leads, you're going to create a habit in yourself. As you start to grow and scale your business, these are things that you can now pass off to an assistant or pass off to a part-time assistant or whatever. Maybe they don't get involved in your database and your business and making calls, but the time-consuming aspects, you can